Same picture for Southern California. Looks all just like California, the U.S. Actually, we had this little blip up in November, but I don't know what that means. I think the big point is we're real close to continuous job creation. It'll occur at some time this year, probably more so in the second half. So we'll blip around the zero line for a while until this becomes a little bit more stable. All right, here's the LA County. Looks just like Southern California, dominates Southern California, so it's the same way here. So we're real close here in LA County. All right, just bumping up and down the line of job creation. It's been horrific, job creation, and then the contraction is not yet over, but it's very, very close. Unemployment rate's near its top. Consumer spending is slowly recovering. We're getting some indications of that, but the overall fallout in the retail sector is not complete, so look for vacancy rates to probably go higher. Things will remain soft until the second half of the year. Ditto the office and industrial markets, although office is probably going to recover first because they will be the beneficiaries of the economy getting sooner, which we certainly expect. And housing markets are recovering. We'll talk about that even more so, but you know that more than I do. We look for one of the engines of growth to be the ports. Exports, imports. Imports are expected to surge with consumers coming back, not only in this country, that would be the imports, but elsewhere around the world, that'll be our export market. So that, and this is just in yesterday's Times. This is very fresh. Here's the timeline for recovery in California. We believe the recession ended last quarter, California. Layoffs are largely over. Home sales are going to remain strong. Look for jobs to start to become a lot more convincing in terms of the numbers being created by August, September. All right, export markets and technology will carry the state. That'll be the engines of growth. California will be growing certainly by the end of this quarter, although you may not see much of it, and then continuously, gradually throughout the year. Jobless rate will probably peak in the second quarter, maybe April. More new housing will be underway by the third because we've got a lot of imbalances. Sharper recovery by 2011. A year from now, it will become very obvious that this is over. Let me talk a little bit about residential real estate. I want to show you this picture. This is kind of interesting. Watch these. Don't blink. I'm going to show you December 2005 and December 2009, year by year. Here's housing market conditions in Southern California, San Diego, all the way up to Ventura County. And blue is, each blue dot is a housing transaction that was a resale, a conventional happy buyer, happy seller resale. Okay, then the green are the new sales. All right, this was in December 2005. Red is foreclosures, and orange is the REOs, the sale of that foreclosure. Okay? So that was 05. You hardly see any red, few, no yellows, all greens and blues, mostly blues. All right, okay, let's advance to 2006. Okay, a year later, foreclosures start to come online. Right? Mostly in San Diego and the Inland Empire and in the Apple Valley. All right, still a lot of blue, a lot of green. That's 06. Okay, we're still in the boom. All right, but the subprime loans are starting to come due. Here's 2007. A lot more red. Foreclosure city. San Diego, northern Orange County, Inland Empire, you just paint the whole thing red. And then Apple Valley, some in the Antelope Valley. Okay, here in this area, it's hardly any. Right, it's all still blue and some green, but mostly blue. A little bit inland in Hawthorne, Lawndale area, but that's where most subprime loans are. Okay, let's go to 2008. Now you see more orange. Those foreclosures are being sold off. They're burning off. Okay, that's the evolution of the housing market. It goes from red and blue and green to red, now to orange. All right, so now a lot more orange. So this was a year ago. And now we go to 20, and so everything's burning off, a lot less red. Now a lot less red. 2009 foreclosures, burning off, more orange, and blues are coming back. Okay, so you can see the cycle that's been in place here in Southern California. This is an evolution, and we're going through it. So when you look at existing home sales in Southern California, this is the way they've looked. And I mean, all the way through December, they've just been moving very sharply. And it was right at this point in time, December, this is what we had, all those REOs selling. It really drove the market. But now we have almost the same amount of sales activity, but it's moving more into the conventional home sales, not the distressed. Conventional stuff is now selling. Still a big distressed market, but nevertheless, it's less proportionate. And we're still very, very strong in Southern California as of December. So that's been sort of the evolution of the housing market here. Here's housing prices. They're up off the lows in Southern California. And in fact, since the bottom was reached last winter, a year ago, we're up 19%. Home prices. Because we've gotten rid of all that distress, or we've gotten rid of a major part of the distressed inventory, which is the fire sale prices, bringing down the median price. You all know that. Okay, here's the prices for December, county by county. There's Southern California right there. There's the change from a year ago. A lot of counties are now up relative to a year ago. Because again, as you saw those evolution of those charts, all the distressed stuff was dominating then. It's not so much today. But we're still significantly far from the peak price in peak month recorded during the real estate boom. Okay, but you see, things are coming back, and in double-digit rates. But it really reflects the mix of sales rather than the true equity of the house. Okay, and then here's the South Bay cities. There is the data quick numbers that we can piece together. There's very few transactions in some of these places, so these may not really reflect the true median, but that's what we got. And these are all reflecting the same change, the same dynamic movement from a year ago. Up, generally. But the peak, the down from the peak is still very high, needless to say. Okay, I think this is in some of your handouts. Here's the overall South Bay price. Probably hit about 30% total from the high to the low, and now it's down about 25% with a little bit of the price coming back. All right, here's Redondo, reflects about the same, and Torrance about the same. It's the inland areas like Hawthorne where we saw much bigger price decreases, as you well know. Here's my outlook. Prices are stabilizing. They're going to continue to rise. A second foreclosure peak may be forthcoming. But the question is it large enough to influence prices and essentially derail the housing market? We don't think so in California. A surge in foreclosures could certainly impact the market and slow things down, but it's not going to reverse it. Why isn't it going to reverse it? Why is a second surge in foreclosures not going to reverse?
They're already down.
They're already down, but they are coming back, right? You see everything's recovering. It's not quite recovering quite at the pace that you'd like it to, but it is. Okay? It's not going to reverse because we've got bidding wars now for these low prices, right? And there's not many of them coming online anymore. In fact, the inventory of the unsold housing, existing homes in Los Angeles, way down. Way down. And you can see that when the REOs came online, there was this huge burn rate. The burn rate is very fast. So even if that surge that comes online, you're going to see it burn off really quickly. Because they're fire sale priced. So we don't think that that's going to really drive things down. Therefore, we believe that this is the time to buy. This is it. Prices are very low. They're being influenced by the distressed market. Okay, inventory is low. It'll start coming back up as prices rise, but nevertheless, this is the time. Credit market conditions are getting better. Particularly, we see shrinking spreads, and mortgage rates are really low. Here's the mortgage rate spread. This is the difference between a 30-year fixed rate mortgage and 10-year treasuries. All right, this is weekly data going back 3 years, all the way up till last week. The spread used to be 120 basis points between these two. All right, and then the credit crunch hit. September 2007. And we saw these spreads rise all the way up to 300 basis points, 3 percentage points. Because reflecting the risky notion of mortgages and the lack of being purchasing and no demand for mortgage-backed securities. But we're practically back down to those spreads that prevailed before the credit crunch. Around 150 basis points. So things are definitely improving, and mortgage rates have fallen very sharply. Jumbo, traditional conforming, here they are. They're really low. You all know this. This is weekly data all the way through February 3rd. And you can see the spread between these two is even converged, like it should be. It's not back to where it used to be.